My heart is packed so full of love for you that I dreamed I exploded like aerosol cans sometimes do. I blew with such force that my bones became shrapnel and leveled the town, except for a small chapel. My teeth flew like bullets. I didn't know what was happening. They killed everyone in sight except for the chaplain, and then, thanks to him, we were both wed, though I think at the time we were both dead. The end. That was Warning Contents Under Pressure by Jeffrey Franken by Frank Henenlotter, and this is Loathsome Things, a horror movie podcast by your hosts Josh and John. I am Josh, and John, what's new with you today?
Oh, what a lovely intro.
Thank you.
Well, nothing exciting. It's midweek, and the humidity has returned. Boo.
Yeah.
And that's about it. How about yourself? How are you doing? What's new?
I mean, the things are the same. Stuff is up. Allergens are up. Humidity is up. Tornado warnings are on the rise.
Nice.
It's a good time to be alive and
Sure.
a human being. No, that's all.
You said you had some time off coming up. Are you off now, or?
No, I had time off. I made a list of the horror movies that I watched so that when it comes to that part of the episode, I won't just sound like an asshole.
Yeah.
I saved that for the beginning of the episode. Whenever I was like, I don't know, nothing is new in my life except for the same things that John said.
I took what might be my last long walk until the winter because I'm not doing it when it's hot. So Sunday was beautiful, and I cranked out like 8 miles. So that was nice.
Nice.
And
Very nice.
Yeah. And then this week, I've decided that I was just terribly sick yesterday and went home from work, and then it just carried over. I mean, it was real bad today. No. And so I just was so sick, so instead I watched a bunch of videos on YouTube about these new theories of consciousness.
Oh, hell yes. Oh my god, theories of consciousness are so good. Like, the idea that what if consciousness is not a thing that individuals have, but rather like a natural property of matter, and that we're all just engaging with a field of consciousness.
Yes.
Because our brains are weirdly, like, shaped right to, like, basically a sensory organ that's able to sense consciousness instead of us having it ourselves. I love shit like that.
Oh, do you mean panpsychism?
Is that what that is? Jesus
yeah,
Christ.
I how did I come across it? I think I probably because I've watched a bunch of cosmology videos in the past on YouTube, and so I was just, I hit the home thing, and it had recommended this video from, I forget the name of some organization that does like weird science videos, and
nice.
They do like seminars and shit. But anyways, they do a bunch of videos. They had this physicist, Federico Faggin, Faggin, and he's an Italian-American. He invented the commercial microprocessor, the Intel 4003, and apparently he also was behind the invention of the touchscreen. So he's a big deal in the world of computers, and he's a physicist. And then he had some sort of epiphany 30 years ago where he was like miserable with his life, and all of a sudden he had some weird like a moment where he was like, I was in a cloud of love, and there was love, everything was love, and then I was filled with the love. And basically he had already been pondering the concept of consciousness, but always had attributed it to the materialistic view or the deterministic view of basically that it's a neurological side effect of the brain.
Yeah.
And he devised this theory that he wants to prove. He's got this scientific theory that basically that consciousness is a quantum event that is basically the universe wanting to know itself by instilling consciousness in these nodes. And so we're all basically tapping into this. It's pretty amazing. And there's some really kick-ass videos with him on there. So I've been watching a lot of that shit. It's great.
I am probably going to watch a bunch of that shit because that sounds amazing. I always want to read Daniel Dennett, but then I start reading Daniel Dennett and I can't.
Yeah, Dennett's a bit of a tool for me. Fagin is good. He wrote a book called Irreducible, which I haven't read. I need to get my hands on it. But they've got a bunch of other people on there as well. There's some Dutch guy that I think he was a physicist as well that approached it from an even more kind of like psychedelic, like weirdo fringe brain, But I mean, like the Fagin thing is great. First of all, because his name is Fagin.
I know, like Fagin is great. You heard it from John.
But yeah, it's just. I mean, it's just like, I don't know. It's just insane. It was so weird that I did a Google search. This was my Google search. Is Federico Fagin a loon? And
yeah,
and Google was like the Google AI was like mad at me. It was like, Federico Fagin is definitely not a loon. He is a very respected physicist, engineer, and inventor. It was just like, okay, calm down, Google. It's going to be okay.
Wow. Google definitely didn't, scrape that answer from Reddit, from, the one really big Federico Fagin fanboy.
Not at all.
You guys, he's a legitimate scientist. How dare you?
It was amazing. Yeah, it just, the whole thing is just insane. I mean, some of the stuff that he says, I'm just like, a lot of the stuff he says, he starts getting into, the collapse of the wave function and all this stuff, and he's, instead of saying that, the standard physicist explanation about, the observer and the observer's role and how everything exists in this superposition quantum field, and then, but we can't observe light as, physically observe it as a waveform. So when we do, it basically behaves as particles, even though a photon is not technically a physical object in the way that we understand. It just goes on and on. But he ties it into all this crazy, consciousness stuff. It was fucking amazing. I loved it.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I always have that same question with these guys. It's like, wait, is this person just like a crazy person or a scam artist? The fact that he had an epiphany where he experienced a thing, that makes me think it's kind of questionable. But people have to come, some people get hit in the head with an apple, and then we realize that gravity is a thing as a society. So what are you gonna do?
Yeah, they had another video with a woman that was I think she was a neuroscientist, if I remember correctly, and she had always had the traditional view as well. And then she got into meditation and kind of started studying, Eastern, because, I mean, obviously these are ideas that have been around for thousands of years. It's just that white people were like, you guys are primitive. But
yeah, fucking pagans.
But a lot of neuroscience people, or I don't know about a lot, but a fair number of them are starting to come around to this idea. This woman is all on board, and she's super normal. She was giving this interview on YouTube from her house, and she's just this regular lady talking about, stuff where even I was kind of like, this lady's lost her fucking mind, but this is awesome. She talked about how there's very well documented cases of people that have near-death experiences in the hospital, and that, their eyes are taped shut and they have speakers in their ears, and they're brought basically into this medical state where they're essentially dead. They drain the fluid out, all the blood out of the brain, and they do all I mean, they're dead. And this lady was able to, like, recall things they were saying, a different doctor that came into the room, all this shit that there's no way she would have been able to know. And it's not the only time that that's happened. And so this lady's like, you can't say that it's just neurons because her neurons were basically not firing. So how the fuck was she able to, I mean, she could have guessed some of it maybe, but not all of it, It was pretty crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That sounds crazy.
Yeah, it was pretty awesome.
Drained the blood out of her brain?
Yeah, she had she had an aneurysm, I believe, and they were going to, she got hooked up with some doctor that had some sort of experimental procedure, so the surgery was going to be free, and so she was like, okay, I guess I'll do that, and they actually saved her life, but she had this crazy experience, and it doesn't dovetail with what we're about to talk about in any way.
None of those things have anything to do with what is it even that we're here to talk about today, John? Consciousness?
Today, essentially, yes. Oddly enough. Today we are going to talk about a little film by one of our favorite directors by the name of Frank Henenlotter. This was put out by Troma, which, is this our first Troma, or did he do... Troma did Basket Case 3, I think, didn't they?
I think probably, yeah. I feel like... I don't think we've done, like, a Troma proper.
Yeah.
Where, like, I think it's just, like, we've done ones that they've put out, but it's not, like... It's not Troma,
yeah.
If you know what I mean.
That's true.
Yeah.
But, anyways, we are doing Frankenhooker from, 1990, I believe.
Or hell 91. Yes, that is the exact date.
1990, yeah! Starring James Lawrence. We last saw him in Street Trash. An equally New York-y film. And, and then Deborah Mullen, I believe her name was, who plays his girlfriend, Elizabeth Shelley? Elizabeth Shelley. It's so stupid.
Nice.
And he's Dr.
A good homage.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Not doctor. He's been kicked out of 3 medical schools.
He works at some electric company. That's right, New Jersey Lighting and Power or something.
Yeah.
Oh. Yeah, this movie costs $1.5 million.
You can see exactly where they spent it. They spent it on cocaine and hookers.
Yes, and the special effects were provided by another one of our favorites, the one and only Gabe Bartalos.
Oh, Gabe, thank you for saving this movie.
C'est magnifique. And somehow, somehow $1.5 million was not enough to provide enough pyrotechnics to get them beyond the exploding hooker scene. So he had to have an unlicensed situation by pulling some favor for the blow-ups at the end of the movie, since I guess he shot it sequentially. And when he asked the guy about it, the guy said, no, everything should work well. I don't think we should have a problem, or something. Like, it was even worse than that. The guy was like, well, we'll see what happens, but we should be fine, or something.
Oh, nice. He was like, look, I just recently finished my work on Twilight Zone, the movie. Everything's gonna go great here. Pyrotechnics are kind of my deal.
Oh, man. I know my way around a helicopter.
Oh, rip.
Whee!
James Lawrence, the doorman from Street Trash. Like, when this movie started playing, I was like, hey, I know that guy, and I don't think I like him. Where do I know him from? And me, having great memory, had to look it up, and then I was like, oh dear Christ, why? It's like, what if the doorman from Street Trash did the same patter as in Street Trash, but he didn't have that other guy there to bounce, like, jokes off of? Oh my god.
I also read in the trivia that Henenlotter, when he pitched the film to Troma, I guess, that he he didn't have a script yet. He didn't even have really a story or a script. So he just basically pitched the idea. They bought it, and then he had to like throw the script together. But then when you watch the movie, basically every single thing out of James Lawrence's mouth is clearly ad-lib. Like he's just like just making up everything, and it's terrible.
It's so bad. It is the worst, easily the worst part of this movie, and it is almost the entire movie.
Yeah, it's, I mean, I guess they thought he was hilarious, so they just let him ham it up for the whole movie. Maybe some of it would have been okay, but it gets old fast.
Yeah, it's... I can tell you right now what happened is Frank Henenlotter watched Street Trash, and his big takeaway from that movie was, damn, that James Lawrence guy is hilarious.
That guy is gold.
What a comedic genius. I just want to put a camera on him for an hour and see what comes out.
Just in case anyone doesn't like his performance, I'm going to get an even worse actor to play the Elizabeth.
Oh, man. Don't you besmirch the good name of Patty Mullen. She's one of the saving graces of this film. She can't act, but boy, can she twitch a face.
No kidding. She is definitely iconic. People still dress like her for Halloween. Unlike, I don't know, the priest from To the Devil a Daughter, or whatever stupid idea I had for a costume.
She still is active on the convention circuit. She dresses in purple and shows up, and people pay her for autographs, and she didn't do, like, much more acting after this. I can't imagine why.
Yeah, you'd think people would just be throwing rolls at her, but apparently not.
Just big ol' yeast rolls from Hart's Chicken, throwing them at her.
I also loved from the trivia that the prostitutes were actual prostitutes, and that they're all members of SAG now.
Oh, nice. Yeah. Good.
Getting the residuals.
Not the Screen Actors Guild, though. The other one.
No, Yes, correct.
Yeah.
Oh, my.
This movie, we also get a revisit from the great Joseph Gonzalez, who plays Zorro.
Oh, my God.
We last saw him 1 year ago in Brain Damage as the uncomfortable guy in the shower, trying to convince the more uncomfortable guy that it's okay that no one's gonna mess with you in here.
Wow, I didn't realize that was him. That's hilarious.
That's him. That's him in his enormous muscular glory. He had 2 acting roles in his life, and those are them.
We covered them both. I wonder.
We have now done his full filmography.
I didn't look it up, but it just occurred to me that I wanted to look up who the weatherman was, because he seemed like he was one of those hosts for like a late night horror, like oh, you're gonna love tonight's movie, because he just had that kind of thing going on, but I don't know who he was. So yeah,
I didn't look it up. I should have, because I noticed him just today when I did my second watch through. Man, let me tell you, this movie is real hard to start watching twice, but when you know what the payoff is going to be, the second watch through is actually much more enjoyable.
That's true.
But I do know that the news lady, the one on the tape that's talking about the incident, that's Judy Grafe, and she is the mom on The Adventures of Pete and Pete, and that made me very happy.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, Louise Lasser is in it. She's an actual actress. I don't remember her being so big. She must have gained a bunch of weight around that time in her life, but
is it the mom?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
I've seen her in a lot of stuff. Okay, so John Zachary, that was the guy, and he was a TV host, radio personality, singer, voice actor, known for a long career as a television horror host. There you go.
Oh, fuck yes.
Broadcasting horror films in Philly and New York, known best for his character Roland Zachary, apparently, or something.
Okay.
Okay, whatever. Terrible name, but great.
Yeah. Nice. Yeah, that makes total sense. And, as much as this feels like the mental decline of Frank Henenlotter, I still love how much he loves horror movies. And that makes total sense that would be there.
Yes, and this movie, as ridiculous as it is, like, let's compare it to, say, Street Trash. It's way better than Street Trash. Like, way better. At least to me, anyway.
Yeah. It holds together as a plot way better than Street Trash. The effects are arguably way better.
Yeah.
Although they are very concentrated. You like, this movie would be like a killer 22-minute short film.
That's true. And yeah, I'm discounting the fact that James Lawrence is unbearable in this movie, which does detract quite a bit.
It really does. But it's the kind of movie where after you watch it, you forget all of the parts that he was involved in, except for the very end, and you're able to go on with enjoying the parts of it that are good. Like, it's way better of a movie to have watched than a movie to watch, which I believe I've said before.
That's true. And basically your memory of the movie is that it was 22 minutes.
Yeah, you remember those last 22 minutes real good.
That movie was great.
There's a scene in here where, like, I think it's funny because he hired real prostitutes, and there's a scene in here where it's like, all right, we gotta hurry up, we have work to do, and I feel like that was probably actually going on for Frank, where he was like, all right, Zorro said we have to get these ladies back by a certain time. Yeah, let's talk about the fact that this movie is one of the most enormously sexist films in human history.
Oh, it is brutal. Yeah, that whole thing. Man.
Yeah. In addition to a sequence of him just, like, measuring women's body parts and comparing them and talking about how he doesn't like things about his wife or doesn't like things about this lady. There's also a sequence where a multi-personality woman is walking around, and everything that she has to say are things that she said to him. Like, all of her memories are the things that in which she, like, interacted with a man. It's real good.
It's great. Yeah.
What a treasure.
Oh, just the best.
John, did you rewatch Intersect?
Couldn't do it. I couldn't do it. I did listen to the episode, which was hilarious. I could not bring myself to watch that fucking movie. Did you?
I did.
Oh my God. Oh, you're amazing.
And you know what? I enjoyed it more than this movie.
Oh, that's hilarious. Oh, that's probably fair.
Yeah. It's so good. I forgot how hammy it is with the fact that, like, oh yeah, he's a Christian and he was a bully and now he's a terrorist. What a piece of shit. I'm like, wow, we just really, like, piled all of the things into one bad guy. How good could it be?
Oh man, wow. That's amazing. That's so brave of you.
Yeah, it's mostly because I don't want to talk about this movie. But unless there's anything else we need to go over, I will summarize it.
Yeah, sounds good.
All right. Jeffrey Franken is an aforementioned failed medical student turned electrician and is getting married to Elizabeth. His current projects include a one-eyed brain in a jar that he's working on.
Sure.
Sometimes by slightly hammering a scalpel into a crevasse. And we never find out why or what, but it is very, whatever that Frankenstein movie that we watched with Christopher Lee and Peter Cushing, like, it had strong those in it.
Yeah, what was that, Frankenstein's Curse or some shit or something? I don't remember. The Curse of Frankenstein?
The Frankenstein Galilean?
That's it. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah. And he's also been stapling Elizabeth's stomach in his spare time to help her with her compulsive pretzel eating problem. To which her almost naked best friend is incredulous that she let him do stomach stapling on her. But what are you gonna do? They're surrounded by Pepsi, by the way. Pepsi everywhere.
Yeah, no shit.
And while there's Pepsi everywhere and Elizabeth is stuffing her face full of, like, 2 pretzels, we're celebrating Elizabeth's dad's birthday, and his only role in this movie is to receive his birthday gift, which is a remote-controlled lawnmower, which Jeffrey designed, which, as she is demonstrating how it works to her father, Elizabeth is tragically glopulated into a gooey mist because she stood in front of it, and it's running on UHF. It's very important that Jeffrey mentions that it's on UHF for a reason.
Yes, remarkably similar to the murder sled.
Very murder sled-ish. I like that it's not even like a modern blade lawnmower where there are blades that are like angled down. It's one of the old school rotary ones that's an open front but remote controlled and automated, and if you stand in front of it, it's gonna get all of you.
It's so gnarly.
Yeah. Afterwards, Jeffrey watches a news story about the accident, which includes the detail that some parts of Elizabeth were never recovered from the scene, including her head. They refer to Elizabeth as, quote, or the lawnmower as it, quote, tossed her like a salad that was once named Elizabeth.
It's pretty awesome.
It is. I feel like he was trying for some slight Leslie Nielsen humor with this movie, and he didn't really get there, but he sure didn't get there. Let's see. Meanwhile, Jeffrey has gone dark around the eyes and has sketched out a plan to put Elizabeth back together, but getting rid of things he doesn't like moles or varicose veins or her chicken neck. That's real good stuff.
Yeah.
He pulls her head, foot, hand, and an extra toe out of his purple bubble stuff that's apparently an estrogen-based serum, and sits her on top of the table for a wine dinner where he pours wine down her decapitated gullet, and explains his plan on reviving her head, but it will be attached to a large-breasted woman at the time, and he shows her the really cool, like, magazine cutouts that he's done of putting the photo of her head on, like, Penthouse Ladies, and talks to her like she's mad about it, and she's just dead. To aid his concentration in coming up with a plan for how to even do this, he drills a thinking hole into the side of his skull, and that makes him realize that his best course of action is to hire a plethora of sex workers so that he can select the best body parts from them to assemble the woman that Elizabeth would want to be.
Perfectly okay.
Normal thoughts. He ends up at Zorro's public crack restroom, where he arranges for a body comparison session and takes home some crack to study. He prepares for the party by cooking up a huge bag of super crack of his own formulation, and then goes to the Sultry Arms Apartments, which looks oddly familiar. I can't imagine where we might have seen this apartment complex before, but also, so it's the Sultry Arms Apartments, and in the TV show Futurama, Bender has an apartment at the Robot Arms Apartments, and I always knew that must be a joke about something, but I never knew what, and this just drove home the fact that I still do not know what that joke is about, but also, I didn't look it up.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Oh.
So at the Sultry Arms Apartments, Jeffrey begins inspecting the really nice lady's body parts. He's like, oh, your thigh is of a perfect circumference, or like one time a lady is standing over him so that he can measure her inseam, and he makes a hilarious joke about it being like the fucking, what is it, the Kansas City Arch, or whatever. Yeah. Good stuff. And then he gets second thoughts. Maybe I shouldn't murder all of these women. Earlier in the movie, we saw Beverly Bonner. She's a prostitute rights activist talking about how prostitution should be legalized so that women will have power over their own bodies and will be able to operate legally instead of being exploited by people who are just getting women hooked on drugs. And we even see him like comment on it. He's like, yeah, they're on crack, it's killing them. And then he has like a little moral thing, and that was Frank Henenlotter's nod to not being horribly sexist, I guess.
And then shitting all over it 5 minutes later.
Yeah, shitting all over it with a bucket of tits and making like weird references to old comic strips that haven't existed in decades. Okay.
Yeah.
Was Mutton Jeff? No one knows what that is, Frank.
That's right.
So yeah, he gets second thoughts. The ladies break into his bag of super crack and get really excited and start listening to what Jeffrey calls devil's music.
So weird.
For no good reason, and then they explode into their constituent parts one by one like crash test dummies. The supply, not the band. And then he bags up his favorite parts that he's able to in 2 giant trash bags, slings a leg over his shoulder, and climbs out the window because outside Zorro is waiting for his, ladies to return from their very short non-sexual session with him. He assembles Elizabeth with his favorite parts, and including the bucket of tits. He dumps the rest of the parts into his preservative soup, but promises them that later he'll put them all back together.
Sure. Minus the parts he's used to make Elizabeth, apparently.
Yeah. What a great plan from a swell guy. Let's see. He then does the Frankenstein thing with lightning because we were told that a storm is coming and there will be a lot of electricity in the sky. And the now purple-haired and purple-nerped Elizabeth is alive. And Joy, except, alas, her memories are all jumbled up with those of the other nice ladies that she shares a body with. And so, while trying to calm her down, Elizabeth, Frankenhooker, knocks Jeffrey out and then makes her way out on the town to randomly ask strangers, really nice questions like, let's see. I'm sorry, I lost my spot right here. Oh, if they're looking for action or if they have any money.
Yeah.
She encounters a variety of mostly men. She assaults dudes that talk about not having money, and then she does an Emperor Palpatine electroshock head pop-off explosion trick on any dude who kisses her. So now there's just heads rolling around New York City. And eventually she makes her way to the bar where Zorro is actively bemoaning the explosion of all of his bitches. He recognizes her for her parts. He's like, hey, that's my bitch's arm, and shit like that, and knocks her head almost all the way off. Just then, Jeffrey shows up, diffuses the situation, takes Elizabeth home, and fixes her up with neck bolts.
Yeah.
Classic Frankensteinian neck bolts.
Mm-hmm.
But Zorro follows them home. And he appears just as Jeffrey is explaining the fact that everything is written in his notes. He's explaining the fact that the serum only works on ladies. He's explaining all of the stuff that's going on, all of his feelings, how he loves her, how she loves him, all of this stuff. Then Zorro pops out with a sword,
Yeah.
A spare machete that was just laying around,
Yeah.
but for a guy named Zorro, it's a sword.
It's a sword.
Yeah. He chops Jeffrey's head off, and then attempts to reclaim his property, the bitches,
Mm-hmm. Sure.
by pulling out a bag of crack and shaking it at Elizabeth. But by this point, Elizabeth has regained herself, and while she does feel like the other women are still inside of her, she is now, like, more fully Elizabeth. So this summon for crack cocaine does not, in fact, get her. Instead, what's that? A bubble jiggle from behind Zorro, but the freezer full of spare hooker parts. It spills over and out pours the only really good part of this movie.
Yeah.
It's all of the hooker parts have shunted themselves together into horrific basket case like monster things. For example, a torso with tits pointing down now, and where a lady's genitalia would be, there is now a mouth. I can't imagine what twisted fantasy that would pop out of, but all of these twisted fantasies pop into Zorro's life, attack him, drag him into the cooler to, I suppose, kill him?
Yeah.
But not before grabbing the bag of crack and going, "Ha, anyone got a stim?" And
so stupid.
Thus exits Zorro and all of the really good practical effects in this movie.
Yep.
We are then left with Elizabeth, who has now resurrected Jeffrey, but much to his immediate dismay, he realizes that he has enormous knockers, purple nips and everything, and it turns out that since the serum only works on women, while she was able to revive his brain and head, it had to be inserted on a woman's body, and his horrified scream is the outro to this movie. The end.
Yes, it wraps it up in grand feminist fashion, sort of.
Yes.
Yeah.
Sort of?
Well,
Was the point Frank Henenlotter was trying to make that this guy was sexist for not wanting to be in a cobbled together lady body? Or was it just an honest, oh no, now I am vulnerable for having a vagina?
yeah, what did he say? Where's my Johnson?
Yeah. Yes.
Where's my Johnson?
Yeah.
Yeah, and in no way was that a rubber body with his head sticking through a big wooden panel. Not at all.
It didn't need to be. They could have, I feel like they could have just given him a big titty bodysuit.
I know, I didn't understand
like,
it. Like what, you had to rig this whole thing. You could have just given him a big titty bodysuit, but I don't know.
I mean, Eddie Murphy would do it. I'm sure they could get James Lawrence to do it.
Yeah, he doesn't seem like much of a prima donna.
Yeah, if like Big Mama's house was right there. You've got plenty of opportunities to put a guy in a big titty suit. Tyler Perry.
Then he can walk around and doesn't have to just have one functioning limb and look all weird and what's the character from from Bob and
Mrs. Doubtfire.
No, from Bob and Dave. What is it? Bob and Dave? Jesus Christ, I can't remember.
Bob and David.
Bob and David, where they had the character, the little character that's in the hospital that the metal band goes to visit,
and he's just sausages.
Yes. He's like, I feel good. I think I can get up and run around. They're like, oh God, they're gagging.
It's because he jumped in a vat of acid because their lyrics said to.
Oh my God. Suck that shit. Do you guys...
That was a different heavy metal band sketch.
Oh, that was so good. Do you guys not see how gay this is? Hey, fuck you, man.
A great show.
So good.
Great show.
So good.
You should go watch Mr. Show with Bob and David instead of this movie.
Yeah. I went back and watched all of it not too long ago, and it was glorious. Oh,
man. Yeah. So good. And so many good things. Like, we wouldn't have a Comedy Bang Bang if not for Mr. Show.
No. And, I mean, we did end up with Tenacious D, but, on balance, I think it worked out.
I mean, Jack Black was on that show. Yeah, that's right. He was Jeepers Creepers semi-star in their version. That was my introduction to that show. I walked into an apartment and that was playing and I was like, oh my God, what is this?
And why am I staying?
Oh, I'm staying forever. Become my lifelong companion, Melanie.
Ah, so good. So good.
Yeah. So, John, what do we need to talk about to close up this movie?
It's better than Basket Case 3?
Way better than Basket Case 3. Arguably better than Street Trash.
I think it's better than Street Trash, but I guess you could make the case, depending on what you're wanting to get out of it. In the misogyny race, it's hard to tell, but I guess raping a dead hooker, that's pretty bad. So, yeah. That was basically raped to death. And then, that was pretty bad. Look, I guess my question would be, Basket Case 2 is good. Basket Case 1 is fucking great.
Brilliant.
Is it better than Brain Damage, though?
That is... Wow.
Yeah.
That's a great question.
Elmer. Elmer.
Do you think that's that guy? Hey, is that TV, voice actor, host guy?
It is him.
Elmer?
That is him.
Oh, fuck yes.
That's why that guy was fucking with my brain. It's because I know who he was. I'd seen him somewhere before.
That's fucking Elmer.
Oh, it's gotta be him.
We're so good at research.
We are idiots.
Yeah. We watched Street Trash knowing that we would be watching this soon and did not put the pieces together.
Oh, man.
For James Lawrence.
Oh, that is freaking amazing. Yeah, Zachary. Yeah, that's gotta be him. I'm gonna find it. Oh, man.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So anyways.
Fuck yes.
Yeah, it's not a great movie. It's, but I guess it deserves its cult classic, status. It's ridiculous. It's very Frank Henenlotter. It's way over the top, of course. It's extremely problematic, but I enjoy it. Yeah, it's the same guy, John Zachary. Wow.
Fuck yeah.
Elmer.
Nice. Elmer. Yeah, I feel like the high points of this movie beat Brain Damage.
Yeah.
The high points of Brain Damage.
Yeah.
But as far it has a higher ceiling, but it also has a much lower floor.
Yeah.
Like your static enjoyment for this movie, for me anyway, my static enjoyment for this movie is very low.
Yeah.
And very frustrated and dear Christ, why? But then it just really hits, it just hits so good at the end there.
It's definitely part of a whole little subgenre of films, of which, Frank Henenlotter is largely responsible. But but it's a really awful period in horror films.
Yeah. 1990. What a year to start the darkness of horror.
Oh boy! Wow! Yeah. Might have been the peak of the 90s horror. Now, it's just kidding.
Yeah. No. The 1990s, where the only good horror movies starred Sam Neill.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Yeah. So I gave this a 6. It's I wouldn't say super watchable, but you can watch it.
Yeah.
I would argue that there are plenty of dudes who will find it hilarious all the way through.
That's true.
Maybe not my friends, maybe not the smartest dudes around.
Yeah.
But get together a group of your chuckliest fucks, and I bet you'll have a good time with some brewskis and this on the tube.
The chuckliest of fucks.
Oh man.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. I
What about yourself?
I'm just gonna give it a 6.6 just because I like it. It's nice to know that Frank Henenlotter could make a movie like Basket Case 3 and still manage to make movies that were at least semi-watchable afterwards. So I'll give him credit for that, and I love Gabe Bartolow's. And it's not a very good movie, to be honest, but I like it. I enjoy it.
Yeah,
it's not even my favorite Frank Henenlotter movie, but that's okay.
Yeah, I would. Where do you? Well, we'll wait. We'll wait until after next year when we do Bad Biology to we can rank all of them. Where do they all stand amongst each other?
Yes, from what I've read, that movie is really bad. So I don't know.
Nice.
We'll see.
It is now the last film by Frank Henenlotter that I have not seen. He did direct a bunch of horror-centric documentaries after it.
Really?
But yeah, he's got Tom Savini, the maestro of effects, or stuff like that.
Yeah, sounds very uninteresting.
Yes. And next, so Intersect. So revisiting it from not watching the movie but listening to us talk about it, what is your updated feeling on the film Intersect based on the fact that you couldn't bring yourself to watch it? I'm guessing not very high.
I mean the episode was hilarious. But nice. Yeah, I mean that movie's still fairly fresh in my mind, and listening to the episode reminded me of all the stuff that I had gracefully forgotten. But that movie is fucking terrible. I think that might be the worst film that we've done so far. Out of what, 107? Nice. Was this 107?
This is 107.
Yeah. So I don't know. Is it the worst film? We certainly dogged it the hardest. I don't know if it was the worst film. It's pretty bad.
I mean, as a film, I don't know. I'd have to go back, which is why we're doing all of this revisit anyway. I'm sure that there were some films that were less enjoyable.
For sure. With that, it was probably the most. It was probably one of the, if not the funnest episode that we recorded, for sure. So there is that. There's a few that I go back to just when I feel like laughing. That one, the Shockwaves one, gets me every time.
Oh, fuck yeah.
Of course, Murder Sled, taking it all the way back.
Yeah.
But yeah, that episode is hilarious because both of us are so clearly over it. We're just insulting everyone, especially Abe Ruthless.
Oh, that's his name. Oh my god.
Rocker.
And you found that picture of him in his band, and he's just cross-eyed staring into the microphone.
He looks like Stevie Ray Vaughan on all the heroin.
It's funny because rewatching it, I couldn't remember how much of what we were saying was just, like, hyperbolic and how much of it was true. But, like, in the movie, everyone, like, Nate is their best friend, but they're just real glad when he's not around. Like, they, like, say things like, wow, it's way better without him here and stuff like that. Everyone fucking hates him, and he's the worst.
That is pretty honorable, actually. I kind of love that Gus Hawerda put that in there, that he made his own character unbearable. It's amazing.
It is pretty great. And yeah, I mean, I don't think he did it with too much intentionality, because, like, watching that movie, having now, like, purposefully watched movies, like 100 or more movies, like with intention, like, I have more experience now, and I could see that Gus Hawerda just did not have, like, impulse control as a director.
Yeah.
He was just like, well, will this seem meaningful if I have them have this conversation? Like,
I mean, this is a guy that had an illustrious... This is a guy that had an illustrious career making crabcore videos. So, you know.
That's right. And he had fucking Lawrence Krauss in the cameo in the film. And Dawkins. I didn't remember how much of Dawkins' voice is in the movie. I felt like there was, like, a scene where if you like, get distracted, you'll miss it. But no, he is just, like, talking constantly throughout this movie. And I don't know how many people like Dawkins as a personality to spend time listening to, but he's real insufferable.
He really is.
Hearing him makes things a little worse.
Yeah, he's pretty rough.
Yeah.
He wrote, his was The God Delusion, right? That's not the Hitchens one.
Right, yeah, that's him.
Yeah, I read that one. Boy.
Great writer.
Yeah.
Super intelligent.
Oh, for sure.
Insufferable human being.
Yeah, an absolute elitist douche. Kind of like Salman Rushdie. Also, very skilled writer, well-respected. You gotta feel for the guy, because, Jesus.
Yeah.
And,
yes.
Well. But, I tried to listen to one of his books. I think I don't remember if I started reading Satanic Verses once a long time ago or not, but probably not, because I probably wouldn't have gotten as far as I did. But I checked out one of his books from the library. I was listening to it. I got about, I don't know, an hour into it maybe, and I just couldn't stand it anymore. So I turned it off. It was just way too literary, like up its own ass literary. You know, like, just dense when it didn't have to be. It's not difficult. It's just dense. And then I popped in this nonfiction book that he wrote, and I thought, oh, well, a collection of essays. This should be cool. Like, the first one is him talking about, you know, why storytelling is important, and he somehow manages to make that subject just insufferable. You know, and then I was like, this. I had this, like, moment where I'm like, oh. Wow, Salman Rushdie is a cocksucker. And then I went and looked online, and everybody hates Salman Rushdie. Not just fundamentalist Muslims. Everybody hates Salman Rushdie.
Yeah. I read the pitch for the Satanic Verses. I was like, ooh, the Satanic Verses, that sounds neat. Oh, and it's tied to this great historical event of like, fundamentalist terror. Oh, great, sign me up. So I went and I, like, read, like, what's the book about? And I was like, oh my god, that sounds terrible. And so I never attempted to read it.
Yeah.
Because, dear Christ, why?
The one I started was called Quichotte, which he has to go into great depth to explain that that's the French pronunciation of Don Quixote's last name, because it's a riff on Don Quixote, except it's, like, in modern times, and it's supposed to be hilarious, and it's about some Indian guy and all this shit. And after about an hour, I just was like, this is fucking horrible, and I turned it off and returned it.
Yeah. Nice.
Yeah, it sucked. Not for me.
Yeah. I will say, if you're into that kind of stuff, arguably the Christopher Hitchens collection of essays is really good, but it doesn't start out really good. I think it's arranged in chronological order by publication,
Mm-hmm.
and his earliest writing wasn't as skillful as his later writing, which is how it should be. Like, you should get better at writing with age, but his early writing, he was trying to sound smart, whereas in his later writing, people had finally told him, hey, if you write the way that you speak, you'll be awesome. And so he just, like, started narrating his books, and it's way better.
Wow.
I listen to that shit whenever I know I'm about to have to do something smart, because trying to catch up to the way that he, like, writes and reads makes my brain work better.
Nice. My favorite Chris Hitchens book is the the missionary position, where it's like this, I don't know, 75-page or 100-page book where he completely just demolishes Mother Teresa. It's amazing. It's so brutal and just merciless, and I love that book. It's great.
Easily one of his least popular books because no one likes to think about it.
I mean, I remember I was like, how could this guy, who the hell attacks Mother Teresa to the point that they have to write an entire book about it? I mean, how much is there? And then I read the book and I was like, yeah, he makes a good argument.
It's like, oh, wow, Mother Teresa really fucked Africa, and then we all celebrated her for rescuing Africans. What a piece of shit.
I opened this home for poor children and kept them poor so that I could exploit them and make lots of money.
Ooh, man.
Brutal.
Buy my book of inspirational quotes that I didn't say.
Oh, man. God rest his soul.
God rest his merry gentleman. His book Mortality, the book that he was writing once he realized he was going to die and then didn't finish writing because he died, is also, like, top-notch shit.
I've read some of that one. I don't think I read all of it, but I always liked his writing. I mean, some of his views I didn't agree with, particularly his weird take on, like, the Iraq War and stuff like that. But he always, he was considered a liberal and called himself a liberal. I think he wrote for The Nation for several years, if I remember. But when it came to that specific issue, he was, like, very hawkish. He was very supportive of the war there. But his argument was a moral one, and it was kind of hard to argue with his argument, which was, look, this guy's trash. Yeah, we propped him up, but that doesn't mean we can't take him out. It's like, I mean, okay, I guess. But he's like, because it's the right thing to do. He's a monster. He does terrible things, and we can get rid of him, and we should. And so he's like, I support it. And I'm like, well, I guess that is kind of a liberal position. Liberals do tend to be kind of hawkish, so I guess I'll take that. I'll accept it.
Yeah. I mean, Saddam Hussein was a horrible man, but he did write erotic fiction. So, what are you going to do?
Whoa. Did he really?
Yeah.
Wow.
He did. He wrote like 3 books about a dude falling in love and having sex.
Oh, man. I'm sure those are really good.
So good. Everyone said so.
Oh, wow. Woo!
Yeah. He also pulled off the largest heist in human history until recently, whenever it was finally surpassed, because whenever he left office to go hide in a hole and wait to die, he took like $100 billion or something. Like he took the entire wealth of Iraq with him. He stole it out of the treasury and was like, peace out. And that has only been like surpassed recently, whenever some like Korean hackers stole like 50% more from the Indian like crypto exchange or some shit like that. I don't know.
Wow,
yeah,
that's amazing. That's what, I took all the wealth of Iraq and then I went and hid in a drain pipe.
Yeah.
Like, okay.
I probably am the subject of the world's most watched execution video, and it's
rough.
Not very good.
It's not. It's not. The cinematography is terrible.
Come on, you're in Iraq and it's 2004. You can get a higher quality flip phone.
It's only Saddam Hussein, for fuck's sake.
Jesus. Yes. Muhammad. Okay.
Whoa.
Yeah. So in 2 weeks, we're gonna. Oh yeah, John. How would you? I would give Intersect a 6.
Oh yeah, a 6. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
By the way, I like you've got your mustaches are like turned up a little on the ends there. It looks quite debonair.
Oh, how that happened? That's weird. Okay, cool. Thank you.
Yeah. And then 2 weeks from now, we will revisit Devereaux Milburn's Honeydew.
Ah, yes. Yeah. Yes. Yeah, I saw it. It's on, I think it's on Tubi, actually.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
It's pretty good. It'll be fun to watch.
It will be. I was like, what? Ever since that movie, like, fucking, like, cordyceps keeps coming up everywhere. Like, I keep seeing, like, the ladies with the black fingers all the fuck over the place. I'm like, oh yeah, that's when I learned about that stuff.
Yeah, the movie was slightly ahead of its time, sort of. I guess there was the thing, but, you know, it wasn't cordyceps.
Well, you know, what are you going to do? So, John!
Yeah.
What content and or media have thine consumeth in the past of 2 weeks?
Oh, man, I'm so...
That you wish to tell people about.
Right. Sure, yeah. We're watching The Pit. I think we're on episode 5. I don't know. You're right. It's fucking amazing.
It's so good.
Emotionally draining, but very, very good.
Yep.
Yeah. I watched this really ridiculous zombie movie called The Dead Outside. It was a Scottish film on Tubi, I believe. It was pretty good. Been keeping up with Last of Us. It's the last episode 3, I guess, was very much like the way the games are. I mean, it was like watching, you know, a live action version of the game, essentially, like going through an old building and hiding and fighting and hiding and all that shit. So that was cool.
Spending a long time playing the guitar in a really, really obnoxious scene.
Yeah, that was painful.
And then just setting the guitar back down. She didn't even put it back in the guitar case with the silica packets.
I know.
She was like, oh, thank God this guitar has been perfectly preserved by these amazing silica packets. I will now leave it in the crap.
And we're going to focus on it for a couple seconds just to let that sink in, dicks.
What a piece of shit. She's now my least favorite character on that show.
This show's so fucked now that he's, well, you know.
Well,
yeah. Hello. I watched a weird kind of sort of, well, it's a Western, but like later period Western, I guess, called The Thicket, based on a novel by the Texas writer Joe Lansdale, who used to do some really cool horror stuff. This is an horror film, but it's got James Hetfield in it. And
who's that?
James Hetfield? Oh, the singer and guitarist from Metallica.
Oh, gross.
First movie he's ever been in. But Juliette Lewis, who's great in it. And, who's the guy that plays the wee Lannister from Game of Thrones?
Oh, man. Tyrion?
Yeah, him.
You're talking about, oh, fuck yeah.
Can't think of his name.
Peter Dinklage.
Peter Dinklage, yeah, who's great always, and great in this.
The Toxic Avenger.
It was good. It was really good. It was a lot of fun. I watched, and then 2 more real quick. I watched this really weird French-Canadian body horror film called Thanatomorphose, which is extremely disgusting. Terrible movie, but the effects are so disgusting. So highly recommended.
Nice.
And then I watched the new Gareth Evans movie. Edwards? The guy that made The Raid? Gareth?
Yeah, one of those.
Yeah. It's called Havoc, and it stars Tom Hardy. It's on Netflix. It's an action movie that takes place in New York, which means he gets to use one of his many accents. He does New York.
Okay, good.
He's a cop who is basically tied directly to the crooked mayor, who is played by the actor that was in what's his name? He's a really big black guy. He has like the lazy eye. I can never remember his name.
Forrest Whitaker?
Forrest Whitaker, thank you.
Hell yeah.
He's the mayor of the town, and the movie's pretty bad, but once the action ramps up in the end, it's about 30 minutes of just pure shoot-'em-up kung fu action, and that, of course, is fucking amazing.
Yes.
Yeah. So that was turned out to be really good. How about yourself?
Nice. Well, wait, I have a question about the thicket.
Mm-hmm.
Is the thicket set in the East Texas area of the thicket?
I wish it was, but no, it was not shot in the thicket.
Like the big thicket?
It wasn't set in the big thicket. It was set in somewhere up north. It was shot in Canada, like way up in Canada somewhere, because it was frozen, like snowy and cold the whole time. But the thicket,
wow.
the thicket.
Fuck that entirely.
The thicket refers to something. Juliette Lewis is like this weird kind of like cross-gendered sort of. I mean, she's a woman, but she's very masculine. Gangster, and she's got all these goons with her, and she basically abducts this young girl, and her brother is basically trying to get her back. But it's super, super violent and like real stylish. It's really good, and that's on Tubi as well. That was a really good movie.
Nice. Okay. Well, I'm just pissed because you're like, yeah, he's from Texas, and I was like, oh, Texas, the thicket. I know about that place. I grew up there.
I know. I wonder if,
filmed in Canada.
Yeah, I wonder if Lansdale actually said it in the big thicket, even though it was. They refer to being in New Jersey or somewhere. I forget where they said they were, but yeah, the thicket in the movie is some place that Juliette Lewis wants to go to, like, quote unquote retire or whatever, which of course, she's not going to retire, but her character is extremely demented. It's really good.
Nice. Yeah. I'm going to have to watch that. Thank you for the solid recommendation, sir.
That was fun.
Let's see. I watched Ash. It's the new Flying Lotus film.
Ah, yes.
It is a significant improvement over his previous film, which I cannot finish no matter how hard I try. But it's kind of it's very much like Event Horizon type of deal.
Oh, right.
It's you've got a spaceship, you've got like some stuff going on, creepy things start happening. It's all right. It's not great. Mm-hmm. It's not original. Like, anyone who watches it is going to figure out what's happening because it's very derivative of a lot of other movies. Mm-hmm. That said, it looks amazing. It sounds amazing. It's a good time. That's worth seeing. So that's a recommend on that.
Oh, cool. I was going to watch that one, so I'll definitely watch it.
Yeah. I also watched Dead Mail. I don't know if you've seen it. It's on Shudder. It is a lo-fi movie about a guy who works at a post office dead letter office, where what he does is he like tries to find where mail is supposed to go to, and he's really, really good at it. And then he gets a piece of mail that is just the bottom of a Kleenex box, and it says "Help Kidnapped" on it. Nice. And then the movie turns to this guy who is a synthesizer. It's set in like the early 80s, like 1982 or something. And this guy is developing his own synthesizer, and his goal is to make a woodwind, a specific woodwind. And he says no synthesizer has been able to do a woodwind properly. And so, but he likes bemoaning the fact, like, oh yeah, the Japanese are able to do all this stuff. They have all of the best things, and I'm just making this one. And he has this prototype, and this other guy thinks that he's brilliant and has a crush on black men, and this dude is black, and so he's like, here, let me become your partner, I will fund you, I'll get you all sorts of good stuff. And the guy's like, well, that's really cool, but what I really want to do is go work for one of the big Japanese firms. He's like, but until that happens, let me fund you. And so he like brings him all of this stuff, but then the guy gets hired by one of the Japanese firms, so he kidnaps him, and then the movie goes on from there. It's super lo-fi visually and really kind of great. More of a thriller than a horror, but totally worth watching.
Cool. Nice. I haven't had Shudder for a little while. Been waiting for them to build up their, stable of things I haven't already seen. So I may have to...
The repertoire.
Yeah, I may have to get back into it.
Yeah, or I can send you my password.
Yeah, that too.
It's also a really good movie to pair with Sound of Violence.
Yeah.
Because it's got the same stuff going on.
Yeah, cool.
I also watched Witchcraft, a 2018 German coming-of-age film about a girl who everyone thinks is a witch, and it's kind of like what if a modern-day Hagazusa, but school age. It's pretty all right. It's up there.
Cool.
That's a soft recommend.
Okay.
I also on Shudder, I watched Frewaka, the one that you sent me the trailer for, the Irish language. It's very Saint Maud. Oh. It's basically Saint Maud.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Did you like it?
Yeah. It's just Saint Maud. Oh. Yeah, it's good. It's fine.
You said it was kind of indecipherable or something like that, or it was... I forget what you said.
I don't know if it makes sense. There's a lady, she is a in-home healthcare worker who speaks Irish.
Julia Saint Maud.
And her mother has mental health problems and kills herself. And her wife is pregnant, and they have to empty out her killed herself mother's apartment of all of the stuff, because the apartment complex is like, yeah, we need all this stuff out of here. So they're going through all of her stuff. She doesn't want anything to do with any of her mother's stuff, or to even really look at it. She doesn't want any memories from the situation. So she takes a job to go work in home health with a lady who only speaks Irish, leaving her pregnant wife to then deal with her killed herself mother's apartment full of possessions. And she's like, well, hey, maybe we need to keep some of this shit. And it goes on from there. It's interesting up until a point, and then it's like, wait, did this just become uninteresting? It's worth watching, so that you can tell me whether or not it makes sense.
I mean, I'll be perfectly honest. You made it sound terrible.
Thank you. Yeah. Thank you, sir. Yes.
Not your fault. I just mean the movie sounds like it sucks.
Yes. Yeah. It's in Irish, so if you wanted to see a movie in Irish, that's a movie.
Sláinte. That's it. That's all I got.
Yeah. Oh, very beautiful. Yeah. It's a beautiful
Oh.
language. It doesn't sound terrible.
Doesn't sound phlegmatic at all.
No. And then the last one that I'll mention is I watched Hideaway, a movie I had not heard of. A 1995 adaptation of a Dean Koontz story starring Jeff Goldblum and Alicia Silverstone.
Oh, Lord. Trouble.
And it was so bad that Dean Koontz tried to force them to take his name off of it.
Really? Wow.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah. Jeff Goldblum plays a guy who dies and then has an afterlife experience, but Alfred Molina is a science doctor who came up with a new technology to revive people up to like 2 hours after their death. So after his mid-death experience, Jeff Goldblum comes back to life, but while he was all dead balls, and like the graphics for him experiencing the afterlife are very 1995.
Ooh.
But he like, visits with his dead daughter, and it doesn't matter. But he also has an encounter with something else going on in there, and then when he comes back to life, now he's seeing through the eyes of a serial killer sometime. That serial killer is Jeremy Sisto, the guy, the love interest from the movie May, and he has a problem where his eyes are sensitive to light, so in order to be a serial killer, he has to wear cool 1995 sunglasses like a vampire would, and go to raves to meet chicks. Wouldn't you know it, Jeff Goldblum's 15-year-old daughter is getting into the rave scene. Uh-oh.
Oh, man, that sounds real bad. Wow.
It's brutal.
Wow.
It's so bad, yeah. So don't watch it. I didn't know it existed. It pulled up. I was like scrolling through the Roku channel, and it was like, oh yeah, this big budget movie from like TriStar Productions, starring Jeff Goldblum and Alicia Silverstone that I'd never heard of. I was like, huh, weird. Let's watch it. Terrible and just like super panned, like the worst for everyone.
I love movies like that. It's just like what was anyone thinking? I mean, except, Jeff Goldblum, who probably got paid.
Yeah, he got paid. It was like right after Jurassic Park, so he probably got paid a bunch of money to be in this horrible ham festival.
Wow, people lost their jobs and homes over that movie, probably. That's amazing.
Yeah. Great stuff. So, yeah, that's what I watched. That's what John watched. John, why don't you tell us what we're gonna watch next?
Well, I toyed with the idea of picking Society for obvious reasons, and then I decided that it was a little too on the nose. I mean, we already watched one that was pretty shunty. So I held off on that. That one of us will pick that probably relatively soon. But I was looking up, just looking up different things on the line, and I came across this movie. Back in the 90s, there was a series of books by a publishing group or company or whatever called Research, R-E-Search or something like that. And it was a series of books about like different fringe culture subjects. So there was a book called Modern Primitives that kind of ushered in the tattoo craze that we're still in now. It talked about the underground piercing scene and people who like suspend themselves from hooks and all this crazy body modification stuff, and these books were really popular with weirdos such as myself back in the 90s. They had one called Incredibly Strange Music that had all kinds of weird electronic music and all this stuff, and then they had Incredibly Strange Films, which had all kinds of great shit like Basket Case and just incredibly strange films. The film on the front cover, I'm sure I read about it in the book, but it didn't really stick with me, but the image did. And then I was looking up stuff the other day, and I came across that movie. So the movie is from 1961. I think it's a Canadian production. It's got a bunch of American actors, but it's called The Mask. And it is some sort of weird fever dream that involves a gigantic Aztec-style skull mask. And like the picture from the cover of the book is this mask that's about 15 feet tall, and then like from my memory, it's like these scantily clad maidens, like one on either side, like kind of pointing up at the mask. And I just was like, I don't know if that movie would be any good. That's what I used to think at the time, but that image kicks ass. And then I came across it, and it talked about how it's a weird classic that nobody knows about. So I figured we'd talk about it. And then 1, 2, and then Gavin maybe, and Ramon, and possibly Chet. Yeah. And I think that's about it. There's 1 or 2 other folks. Maybe Ron might hear this, and then was it your boss or someone you work with? And then
yes,
that lady in that nice lady in Florida who was originally from Houston. I forget her name, but she's usually a regular listener. So at least we'll all know about it if we didn't already.
I mean, like 7 people, including the 2 of us, will know about that Jim Carrey flick.
Exactly, which is exactly what came up when I searched for it.
Yeah. So go out there, Google The Mask movie, and then watch whatever comes up.
Correct.
Yeah. Do you by chance have the director's name on hand? If not, that's okay.
I do not have it on.
Be mad.
I don't have it on hand because I'm a tool. I don't have it on hand because I kind of was like down to the wire on what I wanted to go with, and so I picked that at the last second because I was like jotting down all these different movie titles. But anyways, it was made by a director named Julian Rothman.
Ooh,
I don't know who that is.
That's your son in a previous life.
I guess he used to be a producer. This looks promising.
Ooh, I can definitely see your phone through the camera. It's not just a horrible light blur. I don't know. That's where my picture is hovering, so it's just showing me. This is good podcasting right there. Ooh, nice tie.
Yeah, he looks pretty transgressive. I don't know. But apparently the movie's really weird, and some of the pictures I've seen look amazing. So, hey, if it sucks, that's on me.
All right. You said Julian Rothburn?
Rothman. R-O-F-F.
Rothman.
F-F.
Roth. Oh, F-F?
Yeah, Rothman.
Oh, no. Friendly fire.
Rothman.
Don't forfeit.
Oh, I meant to do this earlier. I was going to do my Zorro accent, so I'll go ahead and do it now. Those are the body parts of my bitches. Okay, that's all. I just wanted to get that out.
That's good. I was expecting like something more like D'Artagnan Zorro, and not. I completely. I was.
I love that all his girls had a circle with a Z inside of it branded on them for Zorro.
It's so classy. Oh man, what an amazing, like, the fact that he was able to, like, this was Jose Canseco era steroid usage, and this guy was just able to pump his body up to horrific proportions.
I love the scene when he comes into the hotel or the apartment, and he's like banging on the door, and after the girls have all blown up, and his shirt is soaked. Like he looks like he's probably just soaked with sweat from all the roids. Just can't keep it together at all.
I don't think that guy ever isn't sweating. Like, he could be, like, submerged in a cold bath and then just, like, after drying the bath water off of himself, just instant coat of sweat. Just his metabolism is fucked by those roids.
Was he wearing, like, a skin-tight, sleeveless purple shirt the size of a tent? And fucking jazz pants.
Yes! What a champion. You should see how small my nads are.
Zorro. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I love the first time I watched it, they were like, Zorro. And I was like, oh, there's no way that it's going to be a Latino guy. It's probably not named spelled the same way. And then he shows up. I was like, oh, shit. It's Ultra Zorro. It's amazing.
Oh, it's beautiful, really.
Almost a good movie.
So close.
All right, well, join us in 2 weeks whenever we watch
The Mask.
Julian Rothman. Julian Rothman's 1960-something forgetster piece, The Mask.
That's right. And as always, Zorro, take it away. I'm sorry you all have to die.